Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Tom. I apologize, I'm losing my voice a little bit today, but I want to share with you today what is probably one of my favorite quotes of all time in this world of contemplative prayer and meditation. It comes from a person that I consider to be sort of my primary teacher, Thomas Keating, and he said, "The acceptance of our basic core of goodness is a quantum leap on the spiritual journey." So let me say that again. The acceptance of our basic core of goodness is a quantum leap on the spiritual journey. It's such a rich quote, and we can unpack it a little bit. So the first thing that I would focus on is that word acceptance, the acceptance of our inner core of goodness. So acceptance to me means it moves beyond just being like a construct, an idea, a theological abstraction or something that, I know God created everything good and in the divine image and Genesis and all of that. But like really accepting that and allowing that to reside in your being, I find is very much a challenge and a lifelong challenge to really allow that to soak in because of all the different messages that we've gotten, through our culture, through religion, religious traditions, teachings, that inner core of goodness. If we're in that Judeo-Christian heritage of the religions of the book, we have that affirmation in Genesis that we are created in the divine image and that we are created good, that all of creation is created good. But something that's happened along the lines in the history of I speak for the Christian tradition because it's the one I know the best, but I would imagine that other religious traditions struggle with this too. I've heard similar things about certain forms of Tibetan Buddhism, that there's kind of like a denigration of the body that can get caught up in the teachings of the tradition, or this belief that we're somehow inherently bad or flawed, or this focus on sin as more primary than the underlying goodness that we were created to be. So the acceptance of our basic core of goodness is a way of reclaiming that, and not just, again, as an abstract belief, but as something that we really embody and believe and live. And the other part of that line is the acceptance of our inner basic core of goodness is a quantum leap on the spiritual journey. Some of you might remember that show from, maybe the 90s or even late 80s called Quantum Leap. But it's this idea that, on the quantum level of reality, everything is connected at a basic level. And that science has basically affirmed that. And a quantum leap is this idea that if we can touch that level of reality, we can affect or move from one place in the universe to another instantaneously. And so it conveys this idea that when we truly accept into our being, into your heart, this idea, see how I got tripped up there, it's not an idea, the truth, the reality, the fundamental reality of existence, that you and I and everyone else and everything else that's created is fundamentally good and whole and beautiful, is like taking a quantum leap in the spiritual journey. So what that tells me is that if we can accept that, that's the equivalent of light years, literally, beyond practice of all the things that we've studied or been taught or thought about. But allowing that to sink in takes us to a whole nother layer, and it allows us to show up in a different kind of sense of being in our world. And that line, another great line from the poet Marianne Robinson, she says, when you are liberated from your fears, you unconsciously give others around you permission to do the same. So what prevents us from accepting that inner core of goodness? To me, I think of this as like peeling the layers of an onion, because we all get messages and beliefs that block over that inner core of goodness. It could be our own sense of our failures, or maybe beliefs that we were told that we're inherently sinful, or maybe a mistake that we made years in the past that we are struggling to forgive ourselves for. All of that we hold on to stays like this crust over our hearts. And there are moments on the spiritual journey that it's like we just are given the grace to release those things that we're holding on to that are crusting over our hearts. And that inner core, that acceptance of our inner core of goodness kind of sinks in just a little bit deeper. And I don't think it's ever done. I mean, I've been doing centering prayer and meditation for over 20 years, And just this week, I was talking with one of my teachers, a spiritual guide, who was helping me see like where I'm still resisting letting that sink in and really truly living out of that every single day. Can you imagine if we really, really felt that and believed it and lived that in the world for yourself, but then also to carry that energy into the world to wherever you exercise leadership and presence and being, and unconsciously and consciously, intentionally liberate people from their own fears so that that inner core of goodness can be accepted? Imagine the kind of tidal wave that that would unleash in the world of goodness. Imagine the way we would show up to our relationships, to our leadership in our business or in our families. Imagine the way that would guide our decision making to make decisions that are truly for my own health and good, truly for the good of the people that I love and that we care about, truly for the good of the people that we lead, and truly for the good of our community and for, honestly, the whole world and the whole universe. We are being called to nothing short of that, people. And I don't think I'm being overly dramatic. So this is really why I started doing these Facebook Lives. It's why I offer these free breakthrough sessions. It's why I have the Facebook group, the website, like all of it is because I've been touched at that level, and I just want to pay it forward. I have this sense that if I tried to stop, that I would be compelled to keep doing it. So if this resonates with you, if you feel like, yeah, I really want to be able to accept that inner core of goodness, I want to find a way to make that real, to start that process of peeling the onion and getting closer and closer to that divine center of goodness and wisdom, then I really want to invite you to have a conversation. And I put the link up in the chat box. It's thomasjbushlack.com/apply, or click on the link. And if you click on it, when you click on it, you'll be taken to a page with my calendar for me or one of my teammates. We will take you through this process of just asking questions. Where are you now? Where are you getting blocked in accepting and accessing that inner core of goodness? What's standing in the way? Come up with a vision and a plan for moving forward and really getting into a practice that allows you to accept that and come back to that divine center for the rest of your life. And come up with a plan for doing that. And if we can help you get there, we will talk about that with you. We will offer that. And if we can't, or you're not ready or whatever, then we will bless you and we will send you resources that might be able to help you wherever you are at. And that is it. This is what we do. So again, if I'm going to end with that quote again and the invitation to have a discussion, just an honest heart-to-heart conversation about where you are in this process. The acceptance of your inner core of goodness is a quantum leap on the spiritual journey. If you're up for a quantum leap and you want to have that discussion, that's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for. Peace. Thanks, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.